It's Friday, July 16th, 2021, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pressing Democrats and Republicans to wrap up negotiations on a conventional infrastructure bill and a human infrastructure bill ahead of the August recess. Congressional reporter Harris Alec reports Schumer is setting a hard deadline of next week for both deals so they can be presented to the Senate for consideration. Those include the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure framework that's already been agreed to, and the Democratic standalone $3.5 trillion package of health care, child care, and anti-poverty spending. President Biden said he's confident Congress will get the job done and the GOP will provide the necessary support to pass at least the traditional infrastructure package. Senate Democrats still have to figure out the full context of the human infrastructure bill, and all Senate Democrats on the Senate Budget Committee set an outline for the proposal this week. Speaking of Democrats, Harris also reports West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin is facing some pressure at home to oppose the human infrastructure package based on the large $3.5 trillion price tag. West Virginia Republican Congresswoman Carol Miller said rising costs and shrinking purchasing power could prove devastating for the Mountain State, where per capita income lags behind the national average. And Republican State Attorney General Patrick Morrisey notes the mandate for a clean energy standard in the bill would be detrimental to coal and natural gas-based jobs in West Virginia. Because the plan is unlikely to garner Republican support, the only hope for its passage is via budget reconciliation, which allows spending bills to pass by a simple majority of 51 votes. Because it takes just one Democrat to kill the deal, Manchin is seen as the likeliest to flip. With the Pentagon's $10 billion virtual war cloud now dead, military officials and key lawmakers are left with a troubling question. Can a company as powerful as Amazon effectively dictate how the federal government does business in the 21st century? Pentagon correspondent Ben Wolfgang reports defense industry analysts say the drama surrounding the ill-fated Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure Initiative has cast new light on the levers some corporations have at their disposal to influence government deals. Amazon's legal challenge to the awarding of the contract to Microsoft held up the deal for well over a year, hamstringing the Pentagon's efforts to move vast amounts of classified data into a single cloud. Defense officials last week pulled the plug on the project and instead will give both Amazon and Microsoft a piece of the pie. Defense industry specialists say the Pentagon has set a dangerous precedent by backing down in the face of a protracted fight over Amazon's legal claims. They say other companies that feel they've been cheated out of big contracts for whatever reason could also file claims. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. Amid the curiosities of former President Trump's recent visit to the southern U.S. border with Mexico was a complaint that it should be painted. Stephen Dinan reports not only did President Biden order a halt to any new construction, but that pause has also blocked maintenance. That includes applying a protective coating to the steel to extend the lifetime of the wall. Customs and Border Protection told Stephen the previous administration signed contracts to cover 134 miles of the wall with the coating. Workers, though, only completed 8 miles of work. And finally, in Arkansas, lawmakers are asking why a professorship at the University of Arkansas Law School has come to be named for former President Bill Clinton. James Varney reports the distinguished professor of law and public policy position at the school was recently renamed the William Jefferson Clinton Professor of Constitutional Law and Public Service. Some Republican lawmakers in the state think that's a mistake based on Clinton's disbarment and suspension from practicing in Arkansas. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the podcast. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.